This one goes out to all my charos out there. People, or should I say vanakkam. So guess what? Roughly this week, about 157 years ago, Indians were first introduced to South Africa. I say introduced, but what I really mean is they were dragged from India into South Africa as slaves in the sugarcane fields. But you know, that was 157 years ago. We'll let it slide. But you know, I haven't even been to India, but I still know that we sound really different and we speak completely differently to Indians from India. Have you noticed? I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we were separated from India by 157 years. I don't know. But whatever the reason is, we speak completely differently. I remember when I went to London a very long time ago, and I heard British Indians, young British Indians, they have completely adopted the British accent. If you close your eyes and just listen, you won't even know that they're of Indian descent. But with a South African Indian, that's not the case at all. No matter how young a South African Indian is, even though they've been separated from India for generations and for 4 generations, they still have this unique accent. It's Indian, but it's kind of not. I don't know what it is, but it's different. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I thought since our way of speaking, our accent, just everything about the way we speak is kind of unique, I thought, why not give them a lesson on how to speak like a South African Indian? And I know what you're thinking, but Sam, you're a coconut. How would you know how to speak like a proper South African Indian? Yeah, I know, okay, but hey, I still know some things. Give me some credit, okay? Those few things that I know, I'm gonna teach you. That's my day job anyway. I'm a teacher. Might as well put my skills to use. Hey! So kids, are you ready for your first lesson on how to speak like a South African Indian? You are? Well, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that you probably need to do if you want to sound like a proper South African Indian is you need to change your intonation a bit. South African Indians, I don't know why, but we have a slight hysterical, is that the right word? Not hysterical as in like crazy, but like it's higher. It's definitely higher pitched, a slight hysterical tone to our voices. Do you know what I'm saying? So we'll take this example, a very simple sentence. Where are you going? If you are not Indian, you'll probably just say, where are you going? Where are you going? Whereas the South African Indian might say, hey, where are you going? Wait, that was a bit much, no. Hey, where are you going? Do you see what I'm saying? Slightly hysterical, slightly. You got it? Oh, this is too much fun. Because of this slightly hysterical tone in our voices, we kind of sound like we inject a lot of emotion into whatever we say. Even if we're just saying something very normal, something that doesn't need a lot of emotion. But it sounds like we're getting very emotional about a very simple question. You going? Which leads very nicely on to the next one. A lot of people think, actually I don't know, I just made that up. A lot of people think that Indian people are very reserved people, very shy. But actually, it's quite the contrary. When most people want to show disbelief or surprise or slight shock, they usually say like, oh my god, what the hell? Holy shit. But an Indian person, no, we don't waste our time with all those words. No, we have our own term of disbelief, and that is ooh. And even if something doesn't require that much disbelief or shock or surprise, we will still say ooh. ew. So for example, if you accidentally, I don't know, if you accidentally spill some milk and your mother sees you, if you're not Indian, your mother might just be like, oh my god, you just spilled some milk, honey. Let's wipe it up, okay? But if you're Indian, your mother's probably gonna be like, oh god, you spilling milk all over the place, man. What's wrong with you? You don't know how to eat. Do you see what I'm saying? We're very emotional people. Even when it comes to little things that don't require a lot of disbelief. The next one. Always start your sentence with A. A! How am I gonna do this with a straight face? A non-Indian will probably say, where are you going? I don't know why I've chosen that example, but I'm gonna go with that example. Where are you going? Whereas a South African Indian will most definitely say, hey, where are you going? I told you, don't forget the hysterical tone. Hey, where are you going? Don't ever forget. Very important in sounding like a tropper. That's right, a tropper. I was gonna say typical and proper, but I just went with both of them. That's what you must do if you want to sound like a tropper South African Indian. Number 3, a very important aspect of sounding like a proper South African Indian is the use of the second person plural. Basically, the word you, but referring to many people, all of you, or you guys. If you're not South African Indian, you'll probably just use the word you, or maybe even you guys. But a South African Indian, oh no. We don't do that. We do things a little differently. We spice things up a little bit, if you know what I mean. So instead of saying you guys, a South African Indian will say y'all. Not to be confused with y'all, which is what the Southern American, hey y'all. That's a terrible American accent. Y'all are crazy. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Hey, it's the same, but it sounds very different to y'all. No, ours is y'all. Y'all. For example, non-South African Indians. Where are you guys going? South African Indian. Where y'all going? Where y'all going? Are you following so far? There's just a few more lessons you need to know before you too can sound like a proper South African Indian. So on to the next one. The next very important thing that you need to do when you're speaking, just kind of like leave words out, especially words that are not, content heavy. Indian people, we don't need all the words in a sentence to know what's going on. You can leave out half the sentence and we'll still know what you're talking about. So, for example, while non-Indians will say, I went to the hospital yesterday. 6 words. Ain't nobody got time for 6 words. Bruh, we got curry to make. We got curry to eat. We got curry to eat. We got no time for 6-word sentences. Oh, hell no. Instead, we're gonna say, went hospital yesterday. 3 words. Indians are really good at summarizing. Now listen, I'm not saying that our grammar is really bad. No. On the contrary, our grammar is really good. Our English is really good. When we need to use our proper English, we bring it out. We bring it out well. But when we're in relaxed Indian mode, we don't need all those. We don't need to be pedantic about our English. Went hospital yesterday. What? You don't know what I mean? Of course you know what I mean. You're not an idiot, are you? On to one of my favorite ones. While we're on this grammar aspect. So you know how in English, when you make sentences, it's subject, verb, object. While everyone else speaking the English language goes that route, South African Indians have kind of decided, nah. Let's take a very simple sentence, for example. It is so big. A South African Indian is definitely not gonna say that sentence like that. Oh no. In fact, if you're a South African Indian, you're just gonna do it the other way. So big it is. Non-South African Indian. It is so big. South African Indian. So big it is. It's kind of like how Yoda speaks, isn't it? Oh, that sounded like a horse. Beautiful it is. Oh, that wasn't too bad, eh? Number 7. Is this number 7? I have no idea. We're just gonna go with number 7. If you are South African Indian, you're probably going to use words, English words, but English words that no one else uses. You don't know what I mean? Let me tell you what I mean. While most people use common enough words, Indian people are like, nah, I want to use a different word. You will never go into any Indian person's house and hear the word couch. An Indian person is never, I am a coconut, and not even I use the word couch. No. Instead of couch, Indian people are going to definitely 100% say Chetty. I have never been in an Indian person's house and heard the word couch. Even in my house, I'm never going to use the word couch. If I use the word couch, my parents are gonna be like, what? I won't lie to you, hey? I won't lie. I only use the word couch when I'm with my little white friends. Then I'm like, can I sit on your couch? It's very bizarre, I know, but that's just how it is. Like, there are some words that we've just decided to not use ever and replace them with other words which no one else uses. Another example is Tumblr. You will never go to an Indian's house and hear the word glass. Like I said, only when I go to my white friends' houses, then I hear glass a lot. The only time a white person uses the word Tumblr is when they're logging into Tumblr. That's the only Tumblr white people know. The only Tumblr Indian people know is a glass. What about the word gravy? I had no idea this word was so Indian. It's obviously not Indian, but I realized how Indian gravy is when I went to a white person's house. You know, when you got a pot of chicken curry, the liquid bit of the chicken curry. You know what white people call that? White people call that, I can't even say it. White people call that sauce. Sauce! Does that look like tomato sauce to you? Does that look like mustard to you? The day I hear an Indian person referring to that liquid bit of the curry as sauce is the day that I become a vegan. Which is never, just to clarify. If you want to sound like a proper South African Indian, you want to pronounce certain words a little bit differently to how most people pronounce it, because like I said, I mean, you know what, that's so boring pronouncing it the way everyone else pronounces it. So for example, most people would say Wednesday, but Indian people might probably say Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday. I'm going to hospital Wednesday. I mean, in our defense though, who asked Wednesday to be spelled like that? Hey? I mean, is it our fault that we're pronouncing it the way it's spelled? Another one is film. If you are South African Indian, you might not pronounce it as film, you might pronounce it as film. Hey, I watched one film on Wednesday. In our defense, oh wait, it's not spelled like that. You know, honestly, I don't know why. The last one, I left it for last because it's definitely the most important, and that is, don't ever forget, if a word begins with H, drop the H, and vice versa. If a word doesn't begin with H, add an H. It's very simple, really. So the word hospital becomes hospital, hotel becomes hotel, and at the same time the word embarrassing becomes embarrassing. Oh, so embarrassing. Well, class, we've come to the end of today's lesson, and I really hope that you've taken in all this information. I've given you a lot of information to process today. I hope you've taken a lot of notes. I hope it enlightened you as to how to speak like a proper South African Indian. I told you, didn't I? South African Indians are unique. We have our own way of talking. We have a very unique accent. Hey, one of a kind, man. Happy 157 years, South African Indians. We're really a cool bunch of people, and I'm so proud to be a South African Indian. I want to be Indian again in my next life. That's how proud I am to be Indian. If you're not South African Indian, I hope you're grateful that we gave you spices. Otherwise, you're still gonna be eating your chicken with salt and pepper. Yeah, you're welcome. I had so much of fun making this video, you know? Don't forget that it's really healthy to laugh at yourself now and then, hey? Have a good laugh at yourself and you'll enjoy life a lot more. That's all I want to say. As always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a like. Don't forget to follow me on all the social medias. And don't you dare forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week with a new video.